Welcome to today's session, Embrace Circularity, Start ReFresh. My name is Hajar. I'm head of sustainability strategy at Innomotics, and together with my colleague Miroslav, we're going to guide you through how we're creating real impact for our customers and the environment at Innomotics through circularity. So we will first start with the quick overview of the structure of today's session. We will start with the why. So why is there a need for circularity now, and why is it so urgent? Then the second point is going to be about the where. So where did circularity start from at Innomotics? Then the what. So what does our circularity framework look like? How do we put circularity into practice at Innomotics? And finally, we're going to have a deep dive into one of the core principles of our circularity framework, which is ReFresh, with my colleague Miroslav. So let's first start with the why, because circularity is now a trend, and because the old way, take, make, dispose is just not working anymore. So costs are rising, we have material shortages, and there is a need for circularity now. And we are also here witnessing that, for instance, circularity is not just a nice idea. So the circular economy market is more than a $450 billion US market, and it is growing fast. And also from the regulations perspective, we are noticing that sustainability regulations are pushing things forward. For instance, here we have the EU's digital product passport, which is coming into force in 2027, or the right for repair regulation, which is aiming to extend the product life cycles by at least 30%. And also we are witnessing shifts in demand. So the refurbished equipment market is growing by 10% every year, and almost half of the industrial buyers are now considering certified refurbished over new. And we are also noticing that companies are now forming strong partnerships for circularity to drive cost reductions and to also mitigate scarcity risks and enable new business models. So why circularity for Innomotics? Because circularity helps us to be future ready. Now we will move to the where. So where did circularity start from at Innomotics? And here I would like to say that everything we do related to sustainability is guided by our sustainability framework, which we call the Geared Up framework. And it is mainly encompassing four main pillars. So we have global governance, empowered employees and communities, active environmental protection, and reliable and sustainable products. And in fact, we have developed this framework to have a response to all the regulatory, customer, societal, and environmental pushes we're witnessing right now. And here, as you can see, our sustainability framework is aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals and is also considering new regulations and standards, such as the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, so the CSRD. Here you can see that circular economy sits within our reliable and sustainable products pillar, which is the one pillar that puts customers at the center. So here we notice that we have two key focus areas. The first one being bringing positive impact to customers. So by helping them or empowering them within their decarbonization journeys, helping them avoid CO2 emissions with our products, solutions, and eco offerings. And the second point being circular economy, which is the focus of today's session. So this is where we're coming from. Circularity is one of the key components within our sustainability framework that makes it come to life. And now we will move into the what. So what does circularity look like at Innomotics? We have introduced our circularity framework, and we call it Circularity in Motion. And it encompasses 3 core pillars. The first being reinvent, which is all about designing products that last. And it's also about rethinking our business models and to cut waste since the start. Then we have ReFresh. ReFresh is about maximizing products' life and also about promoting product and component reuse to not discard products too early. And we have already officially launched ReFresh, and we offer life extending services to our customers. And my colleague Miroslav is going to guide you through it in a few minutes. And then we have the last component, which is reintegrate. So reintegrate is all about closing the loop and by reducing the need for virgin materials, and it's also about partnering for responsible end-of-life treatment and cutting waste. So how do we approach circularity? How do we put the circularity framework into action at Innomotics? We do that using the 9R strategies. So the first bundle then includes refuse, rethink, and reduce. And it is all about challenging any unnecessary use of materials. Then we have the second bundle, which includes reuse, repair, refurbish, and remanufacture, and it is about extending product life and also keeping parts and components in use further. And finally, we have the last bundle, which encompasses repurpose and recycles, and it is about making sure that value is not lost even at the end of life. And finally, here we have one slide which holistically describes our approach to circularity. So it all starts with key enablers. We need the right mindset, and we also need to innovate our business models. And of course, we need strong partnerships across our value chain. And then we move from a linear way of thinking to a circular one. Here, as you can see, it's all guided by the 9R strategies, which help us rethink every stage of the product's life cycle, starting from design until the end of life, while keeping value within the loop for as long as possible. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we have bundled these 9R strategies into our 3 core principles of circularity in motion framework, which are reinvent, refresh, and reintegrate. And this is how we make it actionable. So are you ready now to refresh? Please give a big round of applause to my colleague Miroslav, who's gonna guide us through how we put a refresh into action at Innomotics, not only theoretically, but practically.
Thank you, Hajar, for this nice introduction and for the first slides. I will gonna talk about the second pillar. It's the refresh, remanufacturing, refurbishment of our components from service, that we are reusing components, that we are reusing power electronics. So we will go here through the drive first. We're having our very robust and very qualified and with high operating hours over the years. We start first with Innomotics GH180, where we are doing a cell refurbishment. So we are taking out the cells out of the drive in a planned interval of maintenance. We will make them new, bring the parts back into circularity, reusing them. Same is for Innomotics GM150 and SM150 with the IGCT phase modules. So why do we need to refresh? At the end, there is a fatigue on all the components. There is the environmental conditions. How you're operating the equipment is crucial for the lifetime of our used equipment. So if something happens, then it happens always in the worst case scenario, what leads to consequences of unplanned downtimes, production losses. And with this refresh approach, we can extend lifetime of this power electronics used in our drives. Here you can see some pictures of what can happen, and we are there for avoiding that this is happening. in general, what we are doing is either we are cleaning, repairing, exchanging active use components in the cells. We are bringing them to a brand new age of 0 again. We can have, depending on the model you're choosing, between remanufacturing or refurbishment, we will grant you a warranty to 12 or to 24 months. We have the IGTD phase motor refurbishment and remanufacturing. This is actually, especially in metals branch sites, this is the heart of the rolling mill application. So this drive is steering the big motors. If this is failing, you can imagine what happens on site when you are not proactively pushing for refresh on those components in this very difficult area with this high dirt environment. Consequences, when an IGT phase module fails, the drive stops. You have to do something. In worst case, more than just one is failing. So you have consequences, long downtimes if you don't have spares. You might need repair experts flying to I don't know where. So it takes time. Do refresh, do this refurbishments on IGT phase modules. Here you see some pictures, what we are doing actually. We are restoring reliability back in our repair centers. We do qualified repairs with OEM quality. It's very important. Innomotics is not selling to anybody outside of Innomotics. So this was the drives. Now we are coming to the motors. Here you can see on the picture on the left side, a motor built 1990 to 2000. So it's 35 years old, and we can offer here a refresh or repair of a motor and its components. Same for the middle one. Already phased out product, it's already 25 years old, or of course the actual motors. Here is an example of a refurbishment of a complete motor, of course, as well for a motor. It's in severe environmental conditions. It is aging, and if you have a small, maybe a noise or whatever, and this can harm as well the whole motor somewhat, because there's a reason why there's a noise. There's a reason why there is something not so good. There's a reason why it's a leakage there, because maybe you didn't do the good, correct maintenance, or there is something upcoming, a problem upcoming which you might be not aware of. So please take our maintenance guys, let them check your equipment, and in the ideal world, you do a refresh and refurbishment of these components before it fails. If it fails, hopefully you have a spare motor, then we can refresh that and we'll bring it back. Of course, we are not only doing refurbishment and refresh and repair of motor, whole complete motors, we can do this as well on the major components on a motor. Here we can see an rotor there, and we will refresh it. Here we go. A refreshed rotor looks brand new. We are reusing 80% of the material in this refresh program. So we are really reusing things. Thank you so much.